Good morning, my fellow good-looking B&G Resis. I hope all is well out there. Welcome to B&G Radio. I'm your host, Paris Sharkey, and for this first episode, we're going to keep it short and sweet, just so we can gauge interest and whatnot. Basically, the way this is going to work is each week I'll be releasing little radio podcast type things. They're going to be more like podcasts, where we'll be discussing everything and anything under the sun. We have a few interesting episodes lined up for you all, but if you have any ideas, then please do not hesitate to message them to me. We're also going to bring in various co-hosts and interviewees, so it's not just boring old me talking all the time, and to bring you some diverse and interesting content for you all in lockdown and beyond. I'd also love to know what you'd all be interested in listening to. If there's a segment that you'd like to hear more on, or a game that you'd like to see played again, then please don't be a stranger. The more you all interact, the better this show can become. Now the chores are finished. I thought that there's no better way to begin this program than in the footsteps of the incredible John Krasinski. Now if you don't know who John Krasinski is, then please step out from underneath your rock. He is most well known for his role as Jim Halpert in The Office, but is also a successful director, producer, and screenwriter. In 2018, Krasinski directed and starred in the movie A Quiet Place, taking a huge leap away from comedy and into the sci-fi horror realm. This is a really good movie to add to your list if you haven't seen it already, but perhaps wait until lockdown is over, or watch it with your floor buddy, as this probably isn't a film you'd want to go through on your own. Anyway, I digressed. Taking us all the way back to the start of quarantine last year, John Krasinski released his first episode of SGN, or Some Good News, on March 30th. Now I hope you all remember, because it is a homemade news show that focused exclusively on happy and wholesome events happening concurrently around the globe. And amidst the panic buying of toilet paper and just all-round unease and disruption across the globe, I remember this web series being such a positive influence throughout lockdown. A sentiment that was seemingly shared everywhere, with the show itself drawing more than 72 million views. So, in a hope to perhaps make your days a little bit happier, here is some good news. Farmer John Butler has become a YouTube star at the ripe age of 84, with his softly spoken words of wisdom. To quote William Shakespeare, "Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them." And I guess the same can be said for internet fame, it seems. There's hope for some of you out there. John Butler, an early advocate of organic farming, is also a long-time practitioner of meditation. As part of his spiritual journey, he began recording inspirational messages in hopes of imparting the lessons he'd learned to others. He now has 182,000 followers, and here's why.
Just beneath the surface of this beauty, the whole, life is recycling and being chewed up. And around the world, around about, there are all the events of the world. And yet, there is this stillness, isn't there? There is this all-embracing peace.
In other news, there is something that I have discovered recently in a Netflix Explained documentary that I found highly intriguing and very wholesome. Explained is a Netflix special I highly recommend checking out, by the way. It's a series of roughly 20-minute documentaries on a huge variety of different topics. The particular one that I was watching was on dogs. New research comparing the anatomy and behaviour of dogs and wolves suggests dogs' facial anatomy has changed over thousands of years, specifically to allow them to better communicate with humans. Comparative psychologist Dr. Julianne Kaminsky at the University of Portsmouth says, "The findings suggest that expressive eyebrows in dogs may be a result of humans' unconscious preferences that influenced selection during domestication. When dogs make the movement, it seems to elicit a strong desire in humans to look after them. This would give dogs that move their eyebrows more a selection advantage over others and reinforce the puppy dog eyes trait for future generations." Interestingly, it appears so far in the study that Siberian Huskies are the only breed lacking the facial muscles needed to create the so-called puppy dog eyes, which makes sense if you consider how ancient the breed is and how closely linked they are to the wolf. So, when your dog is begging you for food scraps at the dinner table with wide-eyed anticipation, know that they developed that ability over thousands of years just for you. Granted, it's so they can emotionally manipulate you into bending to their will, but know that they chose to exploit you, and this is where I would typically insert sparkle emojis. Lastly, in preventing this from getting too long, lightning round of things to hopefully make you smile. Male puppies will often let female puppies win play fights. Neurologists say that love is as strong as illegal drugs. Another thing, night rainbows are real, and they're called moonbows. Penguins propose and stick together for life. And lastly, baby sloths are addicted to cuddling. But honestly, so am I, and I wouldn't really consider them all that special. Now, that concludes episode 1 of B&G Radio. I hope that I was able to entertain you all just a little bit and give you all a few reasons to smile. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything, or even if you have any ideas for another episode. Sending love to all of you redbacks. And that's a wrap.